Hello and welcome to Never Seen It. It's a show about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm your host today. I'm always here with my wife Betsy though.
I'm always here too!
Yeah. Today we are continuing on with our rando movies that we're doing a bit of a catch-up here.
Stuff we feel like watching.
Stuff that we've talked about watching forever and just never have. Today we're going to watch The Nice Guys from 2016?
I think so.
Yeah. We were kind of interested in this movie. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't know if it flopped or what happened to it, but it just kind of came and went.
It kind of disappeared, and I don't really know anybody who's watched this movie or has recommended this movie or talked about this movie.
Nope. So we've covered a couple of movies from these two actors. We've got Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. For Mr. Gosling, we covered Drive.
Which to date has been our very shortest episode.
Famously, it is our shortest episode because we were dumbstruck at how much we liked the movie and just didn't have much to say.
How do you talk about Drive, Trent?
Yeah.
It's so impactful that one must experience it.
It just hits you like a ton of bricks, and you just don't know how to react to it.
Yeah, our mouths were agape, and we had a hard time talking about it, but for all good reasons.
Great movie. Go listen to that podcast. Russell Crowe, however, we've covered a couple of times.
Technically.
One and a half times he's appeared on the show. Of course, we watched Gladiator. Famously, I hadn't seen Gladiator. That came out probably a month or two ago.
Yeah, recently.
That episode. And he was in the newest Thor movie, Love and Thunder.
He has a cameo.
He plays Zeus.
In Thor.
But yeah, not a lot of representation here for these two big actors.
These are very A-list actors.
Yeah.
Both of whom have been nominated for Academy Awards multiple times.
Yeah, and we have just recently, Betsy and I talked about Ryan Gosling as an actor. We don't have time to go into the entire thing right now, but the short version is Ryan Gosling seems to be taking the Matthew McConaughey route in his career, but taking a shortcut into the more serious acting roles. Because he could have just kept on being the teen heartthrob and doing the romantic comedies like he started off doing.
Or just goofy comedies in general.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's done a lot of very serious acting and he's incredible at it.
Sure.
So just like with the McConaissance that happened, about 5-6 years ago?
Oh God, yeah, it's been a while.
Right, and Gosling has just kind of skipped the romantic comedy portion, the long version of it, and he's already into his Oscar bait territory.
I think he has better management than some actors do.
Yeah, but he's making really good choices.
Yes.
But anyway, The Nice Guys. I don't really know much about this movie. Neither of us have seen it. We've wanted to watch it since it came out. I think we both watched a trailer for it back when it was brand new, but I mean, other than it being kind of more of a slapstick, buddy cop movie, I don't really know what else to say about it. I know it's in the 70s.
Yeah, it's in the
detectives?
70s. I think one of them is a detective, and I think one of them is just the muscle. I feel like what's going on here is that Ryan Gosling is some kind of law enforcement, and Russell Crowe is not. But somehow they get paired up.
Is he like a PI?
No, I think he's just some kind of a goon, like a bounty hunter or something like that.
Very much in it for himself, and he's just kind of for hire.
Ex-cop,
maybe.
I just know that Ryan Gosling gets into trouble because in the trailer he breaks his arm. That's how they meet.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know there's a lot of physical humor here.
It's a comedy. I definitely know that. And the thing I remember most from the trailer is the moment where Ryan Gosling does that very girlish, high-pitched scream that he is kind of known for.
I'm not aware of this.
Oh, he's done it a few times in various things. There's footage going around right now from the set of the Barbie movie where he screams.
Oh, God.
In that movie, too. But that's the thing that I remember from the trailer. We haven't rewatched the trailer before this.
No.
We're kind of going in a little blind. But I do remember his arm being broken and him screaming.
I remember there was a clip going around of him. He's like on the toilet talking to Russell Crowe, and I think there's a conversation between them, and he's like slamming the stall door. He's in a public bathroom.
He finds him in the bathroom, and he's like threatening him, but beating him with the door.
That was maybe like not an ad lib, but it just happened on set, and they kept it in the movie. He wasn't trying to bounce the door off the thing. It just kept on happening. It just kept on happening. So anyway. So other than that, Betsy, do you know anything else?
Not really. My understanding is this is supposed to be pretty funny. I'm curious to see Russell Crowe in a comedy. We kind of touched on it. He shows up in Thor in kind of a comedic role. So I know he can do it, but he has really not made a lot of true comedies.
Yeah, and we talked about it in that Thor episode. He's doing a really strange accent. It doesn't fit in that movie at all. And to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen Russell Crowe in a movie where he's using his natural accent.
And I don't know if he does it in this or if he's playing an American. I
have to assume he's an American in this, yeah.
But I'm interested to see this one for that reason, if nothing else, because I just really haven't seen him doing comedy.
Yeah. Even if it's played like straight, if he's the straight man to Ryan Gosling. So I don't know. So we're going to go watch The Nice Guys. We will be right back. And we're back. Betsy, that was The Nice Guys. What'd you think of that one?
So this is a key example of when they take the funniest bits of a movie and put them into a trailer, but what the trailer is and what the movie is are not the same thing.
Betsy, I don't know if I've ever had this feeling about a movie before.
Uh-oh.
I both hate this movie and love this movie.
I think the problem it has is it has an identity crisis because it's not an unfunny movie.
Yeah.
But it's too silly to be a drama, but it's not dark enough to be a black comedy. Like, it's somewhere in between where there's like really funny stuff, but the main storyline is like murder and porn and the seedy underbelly of Los Angeles.
Is borderline incoherent.
At times.
Garbage.
Yes.
It is borderline. So the things that are holding this movie up are the three main actors.
Yes.
Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling, and his daughter, who I don't know the actress's name.
But
the
she's
girl.
in Spider-Man.
The only thing I've seen her in are the three most recent Tom Holland movies.
I don't even remember if she's even in the third one because that one doesn't really focus on the kids so much, but she's definitely in the first two.
I think she's in it, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, those three people carry this movie the entire way. In fact, the daughter is maybe the best part of the movie. If I'm being honest here.
She's the most coherent of the three characters.
Yeah.
She is a rounded character and she makes sense.
Well,
versus there's clearly pieces we are not getting about the other two.
And we've talked about this before in other movies where the kid is the adult in this whole story.
Yes.
She, like in this case, she's the one kind of solving this case and helping everything out and actually doing the job.
And she's taking care of her
dad. And the other ones are a couple of fuck-ups.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's happening in this movie. But yeah, as like a whole, the plot is ridiculous. I had to stop the movie a few times to really understand what the hell I was watching.
It's a little bit incoherent and it takes too long to get you there.
Yeah.
Where you're like at the beginning, everybody's looking for Amelia, but you don't even realize, they're all looking for the same person because it's not written in a way that really makes sense.
I barely even knew Ryan Gosling's character name.
Do you know his name?
March? His last name is March.
His first name is Holland.
Holland. Yeah.
I don't even know if they ever said it. I had to look it up.
They did. I think once.
Also, his daughter's name is Holly.
Holly.
Holland and Holly.
Sure, why not?
She's named after her father.
Sure. But yeah, like you're not really introducing these characters as much of anything. Like, okay, in movie tropes, you have two characters who come together and they're going to solve the mystery together.
Yes.
They both have their intro sequences. They both have their voiceovers.
And we got that.
They kind of introduce themselves in their intros and there's a little bit of backstory. They're just kind of fucked up.
But I liked that part. Like the beginning, strong open.
Absolutely.
I'm with ya.
They're both like divorced men. One of them has a daughter. And they both, I guess, I mean, the way they're talking about it is like the cliche, oh, I hate women, that kind of a thing. Or like marriage is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. But as you keep on going, like you said, it's a very great start, especially with the Ryan Gosling part of him breaking into the bar and like punching through the glass window, and he is like gushing blood.
He's like, that's a lot of blood.
That's a lot of blood. And of course, everything that he does in this movie is in a very Ryan Gosling way.
He's a buffoon, but he's committed to the bit of being a fucked up person.
Yeah.
He drinks too much. He's a buffoon. He is a coward.
Yeah.
He is very committed to the bit.
He is inept.
Yes.
He just happens to have a license.
And he drinks too much. Like, you get all these little pieces.
Yeah.
But they take a long time to get there. And there's no reason for why he's like this exactly. They say something about the house burnt down.
Yeah, the house burnt down because he doesn't have a sense of smell.
And there was a gas leak.
His wife told him about a gas leak and he doesn't do anything about it.
But then they casually mention his wife died. Are we supposed to believe that she died in the fire? Yes! Mom's dead.
I didn't get that
There
part.
is like one line of dialogue where he says something about his wife died at the beginning of the movie.
I didn't get that.
And the way I interpret it is she died in the fire.
That's very possible.
But the fact that I can't even definitively tell you that, it would make sense.
And the fact that I didn't even see it.
No, and it would make sense for why he's fucked up, but he's like too...
And the fact that the kid is not fucked up.
Yeah, so like he drinks too much, okay, but you would think he'd be emotionally distraught, but he's not. He's just a fuck up.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait.
Was he this way all the time and now this is just extra?
Yeah, so it's just like things like that where, okay, I kind of got a story there, but you didn't really. I'm interpreting this just based on the surrounding details I have been provided.
Right, and like the girl goes over to the empty lot where apparently there was a house.
That's where the house was.
It's just a field with grass. There's no remnants. There's no nothing.
It's been gone for years, clearly.
Yeah.
And he's saying they're going to rebuild, but clearly they're not going to rebuild.
Right, they're in a rental. Down the street, apparently.
Or close enough. To where they were. So yeah, that's those two characters. And then you've got Russell Crowe, who is, like I said, the muscle. He's a guy
He's a fixer.
He's a fixer. You can pay him and he'll take care of whoever is bothering you or following you.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a price. He just names his price, whatever. And, he carries around brass knuckles, even though today he left them at home. Yeah. And there's like one little sequence where he's got a word of the day calendar.
Right.
And you get
weird character thing about him.
Yeah, and you get one little cut scene of him at a restaurant with a woman where she says, "I'm having sex with your dad."
Right. It's like a Family Guy thing. It's a cutaway joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. And we don't talk about that again.
You don't get it again. He never says the word again. Maybe they were like bringing it back because Ryan Gosling's character says the word nuanced and he doesn't know the meaning of the word.
I don't know. But again, it's just like they show that and that's all we get about his character.
Yeah, there's no follow-up there.
Nope.
There's no reference to it other than what I just said. And that may not even be a reference to that. I don't know.
And he doesn't have kids. He's not married. but he is sort of protective of the daughter. So it's like they're trying to build a relationship where he's like an uncle figure, a father figure.
And the girl wants to be involved with him.
Yeah.
To a point because maybe he's a better father figure than her actual father.
But he doesn't drink, but we don't know why he doesn't drink.
But he drinks by the end of the movie.
Yeah, so it's just
maybe he just doesn't drink on the job. Again, all of these things are interesting things about characters, but if you don't explore them and explain them to the audience, they're just there for nothing.
Yeah, and then there's another scene in the middle of the movie that is absolutely incoherent. Like, it's so out of left field. They're gathering information about this case, and then cut to Ryan Gosling sitting on the diving board at the pool at his house, and the pool is empty.
Right.
And this scene just contextually felt very jarring and strange. And then it was already weird. And at the end of the scene, he says, "Aren't you that guy from the diner?"
Yep.
And we get a cut scene about Russell Crowe's character was at a diner last year or earlier this year, and a dude came in with a gun and he took him out.
Yeah.
But this story has no context for the rest of the movie. And then they mention it in a scene later, and it's like, this would have made more sense if you had just like throughout the movie, people kept recognizing him as the diner guy, and then we finally get the reveal of this story.
There was one reference by the mom's assistant after the party thing where they get questioned by the cops, I think.
The DOJ lady,
her assistant comes around and says, "My
says
boss,"
something.
She says something about it. "Hey, you're the diner guy."
See, this should tell you how, like, I was paying attention. Clearly, I was paying attention to this movie.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that at all. And maybe it's because I was distracted by the actress. You would have no idea who that was.
Nope.
But her assistant is Yaya DaCosta, who was on season 3 of America's Next Top Model. Which would explain why she's not very good in this.
As an actress, maybe not.
No, like she's trying to break out and do more things.
Whatever.
But I just was very distracted because I watched every single season of Top Model, and that's all I could think about in that moment, and I wasn't listening to what she was saying, apparently.
I guess. But anyway, so yeah, there's this reference to this story, and yeah, you're right. I think if they were to have built that up a little bit more, and like maybe he just kept on saying, no, I'm not going to tell the story.
Or just not saying
anything.
Then,
yeah, they tell the story, but then it's not paid off. The payoff is him telling the story, and Ryan Gosling is asleep. So it means nothing. Yeah. They even reference it later, and he realizes, oh no, I was asleep during that. Why did you even tell the story then?
Yeah. Speaking of asleep, there is another random sequence in the middle of the movie where Ryan Gosling is driving the car and he says, "Oh, I'm going to have to pull over because I'm falling asleep at the wheel. You're going to need to drive." And then Russell Crowe tells him, "Oh no, just let it go.
Take your hands off the wheel. These
these
cars drive themselves now."
And then he's showing him like his ankle holster that he's got a gun.
Right.
And then there's a giant bumblebee in the back of the car. Right. And it all gets very weird very quickly, and you realize it's because he's asleep and this is a dream.
Yeah.
What the fuck business did this scene have to do with anything in the movie?
I can take them cutting away to feature something that happened in the past. Movies have been doing that forever. I can handle maybe some dream sequences when I know that they are dreaming. But this just comes directly into the regular scenes. There's no indication as to what's happening, why he would be tired, whatever. There's nothing.
He wasn't even driving before because he was drunk and Russell Crowe drove. But then he's driving. Why would he be driving?
I don't know.
Just to have a reason to have this scene. And because the rest of the movie doesn't know what it wants to be, this scene could have been really funny. And it kind of was funny. But when you compare it to everything else going on around this part of the movie, it does not make any sense.
It doesn't belong at all.
It doesn't belong. And there's like murders, and there's, gunfights, and there's references to the Waltons, and
many of them.
It's just like, I don't know what I am watching, which was really infuriating because, like I said, it's not that this movie wasn't funny. At times, this movie was really
There
funny.
are really great moments in this movie, but it is surrounded by this incoherent plot.
Yeah.
This reminds me of when we watched Licorice Pizza last year.
I fucking hate that.
Licorice Pizza fucking sucked.
You know what it is? They suffer the same problem. Style over substance.
Yeah. And
Because
I love the style in this movie.
This movie looks incredible.
It looks authentic.
This is 1977. It's the gas shortage.
Yeah.
It is smog in
the
Los
same
Angeles.
time, too,
It's the
as
same
Licorice
time.
Pizza.
And they've got the music, and
Yep.
they've got the porn everywhere.
Yeah.
They've got the crazy wallpaper and the crazy
cars,
furniture.
the style of the houses, the smog in L. This is a dirty, dirty LA.
Yeah, the Hollywood sign is
Yeah.
falling apart.
Yeah.
Because this is a time that's just what Los Angeles was.
Yeah, it was a shithole.
It was a shithole, and they capture that wonderfully.
Yes.
The clothes are great. The soundtrack, the music is great.
Yeah.
The title cards are great.
The font work.
But they got so hung up in this is the 1970s that they forgot to put a movie in the movie.
Yeah. Fuck. I am at a loss here because I want to keep on talking about what I loved about this movie, but I keep getting pulled back by all the shit that I hated.
I think you cannot talk about this movie without talking about both parts.
Yes.
So let's just do that because I don't really want to go through all of the moments of this because the story is so incoherent. We can break it down a little more simply.
Yeah.
They both get hired, basically opposite sides of the same case.
Mm-hmm.
They join forces because there's some shady shit going on.
Well, one of them is attacked because he
Yeah.
knows he was in contact with the person that everybody's going
Amelia.
after.
Amelia is the focal point of this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for Amelia, but we don't know who she is or why. There's also a dead porn star. There's a dead porn director. Amelia's boyfriend is dead.
Yeah.
People are dying. But then Amelia's mother is also part of the DOJ, and there's a big case about catalytic converters, which makes sense because we're talking about smog.
And this is a real thing that
this
happened.
is a real thing. But then it turns into this whole, like, who's telling the truth? There's two sides. They're both right.
Yeah.
And Amelia dies. Amelia gets murdered, taken out.
Uh-huh.
Whereas that in any other kind of movie like this, Amelia should make it to the end.
Yes.
Amelia should live to the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And to choose to kill her off in a comedy, which I
In a
supposed to be a comedy,
very
I think.
unceremoniously.
Yep. Very unceremoniously is very strange. What else?
There's no payoff to that
there's
either.
no payoff. They're making
No one's sad. No
Nope.
one's bummed. It's just this person that everybody's been going after
she's dead now.
has been in the center
The
of
end.
everything, and she gets offed because she wants to escape that situation, which I understand, but it's way too easy. If you're looking for like a cheap laugh over how she gets murdered, it does not land.
But it's not funny.
No.
It's not even funny.
How it
this is where
happens-
we get to the weird dramatic
Yeah.
part of the movie.
Yeah, how it happens is kind of funny because it happens right after all this big gunfight in front of his house.
A hitman comes to kill her.
John Boy.
And she gets away and she runs up to the first car she sees and it happens to be him.
Yeah, and as he's escaping.
Yes, and he kills her.
Yeah.
Okay. Circumstances.
Right.
Hilarity ensues. But it wasn't funny because it's not supposed to be funny because now we're in a drama for some reason.
Yeah, all of a sudden we have to shift gears to go after the big bad.
Yep. And what the whole reason we find out all these people are being killed is because all of them made a movie together that exposes the big conspiracy that her mother is a part of. So they actually are acting it out in the movie. It's an experimental porn film.
Yeah, it's a propaganda piece,
Yes.
but to get people's attention, they have to make it titillating.
Yes. And now they have to find the movie and they're premiering it at a car show.
Right, where there's a bunch of bigwigs and the media's there. And,
Yep. And all the bad guys are there and they all get defeated and Nothing bad happens at the end because they had said something about, as a detective, the sun goes up, the sun goes down, and nothing ever changes.
You're not wrong.
And that's the end of the movie. So everybody's dead. Nothing mattered.
Uh-huh.
And now they're just going to start an organization together. The two of them are now private detectives who work together.
Called the Nice Guys. By the way, it's a terrible fucking name of this movie. It makes no
sense.
It sucks. It sucks. I hate it. But yeah, there's no payoff here. No one goes to prison. You don't see him go to prison. She's maybe going to go to prison. They're going to go off and drink together and have a grand old time. And the daughter is going to grow up around this whole thing and be a sidekick to them.
She's the scrappy Robin to their Batman.
Oh, God. I would not make that comparison.
I just mean that there's like this young upstart with the old hardened guy.
Right. Yeah, there's no comeuppance for anything. Like, who the hell is like the bad guy here? You don't know.
I mean, yeah, because it's kind of the mother, but it's also kind of the auto industry.
Right.
because she gets a speech. Kim Basinger's apparently in this movie. Who knew? And she gives a speech about, well, you might take me out of the equation, but without me there...
The big three will always be there.
The cars, they're going to win and nothing will change.
Yeah.
But there is nobody representing the car industry. There's like one guy who's a throwaway character who we didn't even get introduced to until late in the movie, so we didn't know who he was.
No, he was at the very, very beginning. It was in that newsreel.
Again, in a newsreel. So like that exposition was used poorly.
Yeah, like this guy who gets introduced supposedly as he's coming to LA for the big car show of the 1979 models, and he's representing the big three car makers.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. He's the businessman. Dr. Evil businessman.
Yeah. Matt Bomer is John Boy, who, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you've ever actually watched The Waltons, but they even went so far as to give him the big freckle on his face, the mole.
Yeah.
That the actor who plays John Boy actually has a big mole on his face.
No, I've never seen The Waltons.
I watched a lot of The Waltons when I was a kid. I don't remember a damn thing about it.
I remember Goodnight, John Boy.
Good night, John Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt Bomer is in this movie. He doesn't show up till 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
He's like a caricature of a menacing guy. He's like a nobody, nothing character.
Right.
He's evil. He's wearing leather gloves.
Yeah.
And then he's there, and then he's apparently carrying, grenades, but he's able to get the jacket off. Like, it would have been funnier if he blew up.
Yeah.
That would have been
There's
funnier.
no consequence for him either. He gets punched in the face a couple of times, and that's it.
The
girl saves his life by saying, I'm not going to talk to you anymore if I witness you murdering this man.
Yeah, he gets away with it. The assistant, she lives.
Supposedly, yeah.
Supposedly. Yeah, we didn't see anything bad happen to her. Kim Basinger, we don't know what happens to her.
She is apparently fine. She's just hanging out there.
Yeah.
I don't foresee her actually having any consequences.
So it's just like there's so much going on here, but it takes forever to get there. When they are giving you all the pieces, they're doing it in a way that's so overt.
And Betsy, there were two moments during this movie where they're driving in the car and conveniently they happen upon a plot point.
Yeah.
Twice. The first time they come across the billboard for the porn guy.
Yes, they do.
With his name, who they were told it was named like Hat Rack or something. It's something similar to that. But by this kid who was on the bicycle in front of the house who just happened to be... There's a lot of people who just happen to be on the side of the road. When they go to the apartment building that isn't there anymore, there just happens to be a guy on the sidewalk who can explain what's happening.
Yes, who knows exactly
the answer that they need, and then they disappear. They happen upon that billboard, and then they happen upon the hotel that takes the place of the apartment building. I don't know if you've ever been to LA before. We haven't, but I'm sure LA is a pretty big town.
It's a massive
and
city.
They're not going to just happen upon these places. Betsy.
Yeah, so it's either...
What the fuck?
It's either so overt and in your face because they just happen upon it, or it's so subtle you all miss it completely.
But they don't point it out.
No.
If they were pointing it out and like saying, oh, isn't this convenient? maybe it would have been funny. If you found a way to do that, it maybe would have been funny.
Yeah, the only thing that I was like, oh, okay, I see. The note is a little purple cow piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, pretty obvious. They don't call it out right away, but I, as the viewer, noticed it.
Sure.
But then they're talking about...
Detective work.
Yeah, but then they're talking about the office and the pinstripes and all this stuff, but they're not drawing enough attention to it.
It's all contrived.
It's, yeah. So it was just overly complicated because they think, oh, it's a detective story. We need to make it complicated and have, a whodunit and all these different pieces.
Betsy, the thing that just came to mind was the movie Knives Out.
Which is a great movie.
Which is a great whodunit movie. There's going to be another one coming out in December. I cannot fucking wait. Anyway, this movie is not Knives Out. Knives Out is constructed in a way where you could maybe figure it out, but they're telling you all the clues as you're watching it. You kind of know what the conclusion is by watching the first third of it, but you need to continue to watch to get everything.
Right, because they say, well, look, it could be this person, but it could be this person.
Right.
But it could be this person. This one, there's... who? There's no main person for me to hate.
Yeah, the director here thinks that they're constructing this grand vision. It's not there.
There's too many people that don't matter. There is not enough time spent on the stuff that does matter.
Yep.
They couldn't pick a tone and stick with it because I wanted it to be funnier. Like, in a movie like this, you can make a detective movie, but it has to be funny. Like, Knives Out is a funny detective movie.
Yeah.
And there's death in it because they picked a tone and stuck with it.
And the characters there are very well defined.
Yes.
They're a little cookie cutter in some capacities, I will grant. But you can, think about Clue. Those are all cookie cutter characters. And it still works. It's funny.
Yes.
You can play up the stereotypes. But
and again,
in this movie,
you picked a tone and you stayed with it.
Yeah.
This one, the overarching plot is not a funny plot. It's about this conspiracy between the car manufacturers and the government.
Sure.
And how the little guy's never gonna win, and
we're all gonna die from smog.
Everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's really hard to make funny.
Yeah.
Like, if you had picked, usually in these kinds of movies, it's drugs. It's a drug ring, and it's some guy on the inside is always the dude. Like, 21 Jump Street did it, and I just watched The Heat, and they do it there too. It's all about drugs, and it's because they're less difficult to make fun of.
Yeah.
You can find humor in that, like people accidentally doing drugs or something.
A grand conspiracy between giant conglomerates and the United States government.
A complicated story, you mean?
Right. Yeah, that stuff is a serious thing. You can't make fun of a serious thing like that in a movie like this and have it work out.
No,
you just can't. And they shouldn't have tried.
This storyline would have worked better if it was just drama.
Yeah.
Just a drama.
Yep.
Like, you could still
find this girl, and that's it.
You could still make Russell Crowe the muscle. You could still make Ryan Gosling an alcoholic coward, and it would work. Just take out the comedy part of it. Or go full comedy, but change the core story, because this was just confusing most of the time.
Oh, God.
So, do you have other specific moments that you really disliked, or is it just kind of the overall?
It was just like all of the actors on screen. There were some moments here that were just super awkward. Like, they didn't feel comfortable in the scenes. But I don't know. I think when the characters are interacting with each other, there's a bunch of scenes where it's just these two guys riffing on each other. Whether it's scripted or not, I don't care. But they were good together. They had good chemistry.
Yes.
It was strange to have them both interact very well, but they're good actors, so I guess it works. The content of what they were talking about, the plot points that they're trying to get to the audience, don't land. So just put them on screen and magic will happen, I guess. That's what was expected here. but it was just them being awkward on screen that just took me completely out of it.
Yeah, there's, like, Keith David is in this. Why? I don't know.
Because Keith David is a fucking treasure.
But he doesn't need to be in this movie.
You're right.
He's a thug, and then he falls off a building and explodes. Like,
Yes.
it's too graphic.
That was too much.
It was too much. And then there's, like, the guy with who's hanging out with him, and, like, paint blows up in his face.
Speaking of too much, like, the whole porn party.
The porn party.
That was too much.
It went on too long.
That scene went on way too long. You could have gotten there, did whatever you needed to do, and not have to... him putting all this TNA on the screen just was awkward.
Again, okay.
I know it's a porn party.
I can forgive it for, again, the whole style thing of the 70s. Like, it is a seedy party in a seedy town. It is a party of excess. Like, they have the fucking... Wasn't that Earth, Wind, and Fire playing this party? Because they played September. Am I not correct?
Yeah.
And, you know, there's, like... girls painted gold posing weird, and there's chicks dancing on the counter, and there's mermaids in the indoor pool / bar. It's all just excessive to be excessive.
Yeah, it was much.
I can allow that if it didn't go on for so long.
Or if there was actually a meaning for it to be there.
No, and then, like, the only reason it seemed to be there was for Ryan Gosling to get drunk and act like a fool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and like some of the moments here are actually really funny. Like him being drunk and interacting with the chick on the balcony thing, where he falls off and is fine. He has a broken arm and everything. He's completely fine. Also, he's very drunk, so he probably doesn't feel a thing.
And he's just like speaking incoherently and dives headfirst off a balcony, you know?
Yeah, and Amelia is there, and he's just saying, "Oh, I'm just looking for my gun."
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of funny. And then does he like pass out there next to the tree? I think it cuts away.
He just sort of sits there and has a cigarette because he does that a lot. And he finds a dead body.
God, he smokes a lot.
He does. It's the 70s. He's a detective. I don't know.
Yeah, and he comes to and he looks over and there's a dead guy.
But then he's like hamming it up to the point of excess again. Which is like...
Yeah, you're not Adam Sandler, Ryan Gosling. Don't do that.
Like, no, that part bothered me. But when they're getting rid of the body, he is like talking to Russell Crowe, and like there's the line where he says, "I was in the pool. I had to question the mermaids." Like, it was funny. It was a funny line.
Yeah, but then why do they take it upon themselves to get rid of the body?
Because it could be traced to them. Because the girl they saw.
The girl, I had my gun, and blah blah blah.
Oh, and then they throw the body over a fence into a party table.
And you know, as a joke, as a gag, that worked. I laughed at that.
Yes.
If for no other reason, to make a bunch of rich people uncomfortable.
Right.
That's all I care about. But other than that, that scene was weird, and it's one of those buddy cop movie tropes that they're just kind of throwing in here to have it in here. It seemed like they were really just trying to pad this movie out with a lot of the scenes between those two. And for the most part, they work.
But they also don't ever have a lot of moments where they're getting to know each other, explaining why they would become buddies, why they would have each other's back, why they would start an agency together.
And the moment where he asks, "Okay, tell me about the diner. I gotta know, tell me about the diner." So he tells the story, and he passes out during it.
And he even says, like, that was, like, one of my best days.
It was the best day of my life.
What?
Right. There's no growth there. There's nothing.
No, they have great chemistry together, but there's no scene solidifying why their relationship makes sense.
No.
Yeah.
Why do they like each other?
I don't know.
Because they do the same thing?
Yeah,
they're unorthodox.
They never save each other's lives. They never, like, confide in each other.
Russell Crowe broke his goddamn arm.
Yeah, so let's pivot. Let's talk about things we did like. Like we said, strong opening. So they have their own little moments together. Ryan Gosling is breaking into a bar, and he takes care to wrap his hand up in a cloth, and he punches through a window, but he cuts his wrist, and he is bleeding everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, that's a lot of blood."
Yeah, and cut to an ambulance, and he's at the place.
He's trying to escape.
And
yeah.
the nun nurse is there trying to have him accept Jesus.
Right. So that was a funny scene. When he shows up at his house, Russell Crowe shows up at Ryan Gosling's house, just cold cocks him in the face, and he's like, "You got the message, right?" But he clearly doesn't have the message because he keeps fighting. And then he says, "Okay, I'm going to break your arm." And it's the scene I was talking about where he's like, "When you go to the hospital, just tell them you have a, a twisted fracture, something, spiral fracture in
exactly this bone is broken. Yeah.
This kind of a break in this bone." And he goes, "All right, you ready?" And he cracks his bone.
As a professional courtesy, he
and
gives him...
Ryan Gosling screams.
He does his high-pitched scream.
So high. And it's fucking hilarious. It was really funny. The scene you talked about where he's in the bathroom and the door is not closing.
And he has the magazine on his junk. Yeah.
Yeah, he's milking it because it happened, but he stays in character.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. As him as an inept private investigator and Russell Crowe as the unlicensed dude, he would like to be a PI.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he would like to become one, but he doesn't want to go through the paperwork.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I don't know about that. Russell Crowe drinks Yoo-hoo. There's kind of a cute scene.
There was one little scene about that.
The daughter gives him Yoo-hoo, and he gets very excited.
I had a problem with this when we saw it. He's just going back to his car, and she went to go get groceries. They've never seen each other before. They have no context for each other existing.
She sees him walk out of the house.
The girl just "Hey, do you want a Yoo-hoo?"
Yeah.
What?
She sees him walk out of the house. That's all.
Is that what happened?
That's all. But you don't see him walk out of the house.
No.
You just see a random girl you've never met as the viewer
and
walk up to a man and give him Yoo-hoo.
And he noticed her in the field of the empty lot, and that was it. Oh, how much did Yoo-hoo pay to have their product placement in here?
And then he gets a whole case of Yoo-hoo, and then it drops on the floor. It's very sad.
I was very sad. I've never had Yoo-hoo before. I'm not a big chocolate person, but that made me sad because it's a bunch of glass Yoo-hoo bottles.
Yeah. Another funny part, when they finally catch up to Amelia at the hotel, they say, we're going to go to the bar, and they ask the bartender for information. He says, what's in it for me? Oh, well, he'll stop doing it. Doing what? Yeah. And he grabs him by the tie and smacks his face.
I don't know if it's in the trailer, but it is absolutely a trailer moment.
Yes, this is another thing in the trailer.
Yeah.
But they decide to go upstairs, knowing there's trouble up there, see the carnage, and just kind of slowly back away and go downstairs.
And that's a great scene.
And while they're going down the glass elevator, you see a guy fly out the window. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was really funny. There's also the scene where they find out what's going on here, and instead of just saying there's two sides to every story, Russell Crowe talks about how he knew a guy who worked for the Secret Service who was on Richard Nixon's detail after he was the president, and they came across a car wreck, and Nixon gets out of the car, and he talks to the guy and says, "It's gonna be okay, you're gonna live," and then the guy promptly died. And think about that, you're about to die, and Richard Nixon appears, and you think, is this normal? So this made me think of something, and I've probably told you this story before.
All right.
So you may be aware, Harrison Ford is a pilot.
Yes.
Okay. Harrison Ford lived in Colorado, someplace, maybe it was just out in California, where there's a lot of hiking, guys go out in the mountains, and they get lost sometimes.
All right.
And there was an incident where this guy, broke his leg or something, he was stuck in a ravine, they needed to get air rescue, and Harrison Ford happened to be in the area, and he is licensed for such things. this man who's been delusional in a pit somewhere is being rescued, and all of a sudden Harrison Ford appears out of the sky and rescues this man.
Han Solo himself.
This is a real thing that happened. Imagine being that hiker. Like, how long have I been laying here that I'm seeing Harrison Ford?
Right.
That you think this isn't really happening.
Right.
But it did.
I can imagine that, and I do believe that story about Nixon is true.
Have you heard that before?
I think I've heard that before, yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to have to look into that later.
And of course, after Ryan Gosling falls out of the big hotel building,
off the roof,
into the pool,
yeah.
he sees a Richard Nixon caricature in the pool
Again.
next to him. You know, it was the one time that happened.
Yes.
Where he's hallucinating and it's not actually happening.
And it's another moment that's like funny, but doesn't fit the rest of the movie.
No.
Like they didn't go silly enough consistently. They didn't go dark enough consistently.
Yeah.
They went too dark sometimes.
With Keith David going splat outside the pool.
The two of them fall off the roof. He goes splat in a big explosion of blood, and Ryan Gosling falls in the pool. And then, of course, he promptly says, you know, I've come to the conclusion I can't die. It's the only thing that makes sense. Am I invincible?
Yeah.
Because he's right. He keeps falling down hills and falling into pools, and he's always fine. He's always fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, I just now realized he fell into the pool, and he was pretty much dry instantaneously.
Yeah, that happened before, too. After he got out of the pool with the mermaids, when he's down the hill, he's dry.
Which I'll give you, time has passed there.
Not that much time.
And he took his clothes off, at least. He was shown swimming in the pool in his underwear.
Okay, yes, you're right.
But
still,
you're right. His hair looks very dry.
I'll tell you this. Ryan Gosling's hair is immaculate in this entire movie.
His facial hair, his hair.
On point.
He's clearly the unkempt detective.
Yes.
Like, the detail we haven't talked about, he wakes up, the first time we see this character, he is introduced waking up in a bathtub wearing a full suit.
Yep. The third moment in this movie,
1970s
he is wet.
Polyester.
Yeah.
You know, paisley shirt and a polyester suit. Mm-hmm. And he's got, "You will never be happy," written on his hand.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, he has now fallen into a pool on 3 separate occasions in this movie, or a body of water. And at the end of the movie, it's still written on his hand.
Yep.
How is that possible?
I figured it was a tattoo, but...
It's not a tattoo.
It's not a tattoo because it's smudged.
But it's
Even
smudged.
a permanent marker would fade or get smudged.
And it's been like 3 days.
Unless he reapplies it every day.
Why would you reapply?
I don't know. That's the only explanation
I have. And again,
I have.
it's just like there, and they don't explain it.
No.
And it's just another moment that bothers me because I am a rational person, and things like that wouldn't last for 3 days if you keep falling in the pool.
God damn it. So some of the things that I liked, there are a few. We've mentioned them. Keith David is amazing. I love Keith David. If I could pay any amount of money to have his voice, I would take it. I would pay it. That's about it about him. He's just great. I love Keith David.
He's not necessary. It didn't have to be Keith David. I don't know why he's here. That could have been just any nameless actor. It didn't lend gravitas.
I have to think he just wanted to have Keith David in something and have him look fucking fly.
He looked
Oh,
great.
God, he looked great.
But, you know,
Keith David is in his, late 60s or 70s by now.
Right.
He is not a young man.
He's supposed to be, like, this spry dude kicking ass, and he and Russell Crowe are tussling, and you just out loud said, he is not a young man.
These are not young men fighting here.
So they had to do some clever editing to make it look like their fighting was very real.
Well, speaking of that, like, when Russell Crowe and John Boy were on the roof fighting, oh, boy, was that a bad edit, because I could clearly see that was not Russell Crowe.
Right.
That was bad. Back to some of the stuff with the daughter. Her quote, "There's like whores and stuff here."
Don't say and stuff.
Don't say and stuff. Oh, that was a great line. Delivered perfectly. It's the perfect misdirection of what you think is going to be said.
And yeah, just that scene in general, like she sneaks in the trunk,
Yeah.
and she's knocking on the trunk to be let out. And Ryan Gosling opens the trunk after he has told her, of course, you go to your friend's house. And she says, I know what you're going to say, but since I'm here, and he just closes the trunk and hands the keys to the valet.
It's like, sir, I can't take that car. Like, I know there's somebody in there.
Like, it's a great, like, deadpan moment.
Their dynamic was pretty good.
Yeah, there's not that many movies where Ryan Gosling plays a dad, but this is the kind of movie where it works. Like, he's really good in this. Because what we touched on earlier, she is the parent in this situation.
Yeah.
She's like 13 and she's driving him around Los Angeles.
Yep.
She's driving the car. The unlicensed minor is driving her drunk father around Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah, the moments where he's allowed to be a good dad are good.
Are there moments where he's a good dad?
You know, him like saying, hey, go to your friend's house for this thing.
Oh, so he's actually trying to be a good dad. She's just not very good at listening.
Yes. Just a couple of more here. There's a few things that we didn't mention at the very beginning of the movie. We're introduced to this random house that is just establishing the setting and the time. And there's this kid who is in this house looking for a nudie magazine from his dad. He goes under the bed, he gets it, he goes out there, and this fucking Trans Am just comes out of nowhere, going over a hill and crashes into the house.
Through the house.
Yes.
It comes, you can
all
see
the way
it
through the house.
Out the kitchen window, coming down the hill in silence, and then it just appears by slamming through the whole house.
Right. And this kid has this nudie magazine, and he opens it up and sees this chick, Misty Mountains.
The centerfold.
Yeah, Misty Mountains, I think her name is.
Yes, her name is Misty Mountains.
She is in the car, apparently. She gets thrown from the car after it crashes through the house. And then she's like kind of in the same pose.
Also naked.
And of course naked. In the same pose as she was in the magazine.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this is a weird tone to start the movie. I'm kind of into this, but you gotta pull it off. You gotta pull it off because this is silly.
Yeah, and the rest of the plot wasn't.
And yeah, she just dies in front of this kid, and he like takes his coat off and puts it over the top of her. And it's like starting kind of sad.
Yeah, it's
like that sucks.
It's a weird tone. The movie has a problem with tone.
And we skip a little bit and we cut to a educational video, an educational film about pool safety.
But it's not about pool safety. But
it's not.
It's learning by the pool. And so they're teaching kids about adjectives and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff, excuse me.
Yes, don't say and stuff. Billy has a green towel. Jerry has a pink towel.
Jerry's towel is gay. And all the room bursts into laughter because kids know too much these days. This is what this scene is setting up.
And this is where we get the voiceover from Russell Crowe saying, oh yeah, kids today, being the old man that he is, and giving his backstory. So the film itself was well done, but I don't know if that was a real thing or if it was just presented like it was.
I think it was just presented that way.
Okay.
But yeah, then it's this girl in the class who is like fooling around with a dude way older than her.
Yeah.
It's just a way to introduce his character and the kind of guy he is.
And I guess to get you, the audience, on his side. Like, he's doing a good thing here. Even though he's kicking the ass of somebody who deserves to have their ass kicked.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That man should not be fooling around with a teenager.
I think there's only one more thing we forgot to mention. When they're first together and they're going off to try to find Amelia, to try to figure out where things are, Ryan Gosling's character knows where he thinks Amelia is going to be because he heard that there was going to be a protest somewhere.
And it's her protest group.
It's her protest group.
It's her protest group.
Why wouldn't she be there? It's her protest group. So they show up at the steps of this government building, I guess. And there's all these kids, teenagers, I guess.
Hippies.
It's 1977. I don't think there's hippies anymore.
I mean, they were all dressed like hippies.
Sure.
It's like the remnants of the hippie generation.
Or it's like the younger generation that was too young to be a hippie.
Siblings.
Yeah, it's the younger siblings that want to be like their older siblings.
Yes.
Anyway, they're all like strewn about on the steps of this building, and they have no time for their bullshit. Like, come on, where's Amelia? We're dead, we can't help you.
Yeah, they're all protesting the smog because smog kills the birds. So they're all laying on the ground wearing masks and gas masks, but they refuse to acknowledge them. And every time they keep yelling, they say, "We're dead. We can't talk to you because we're dead."
And like one of them, I think Russell Crowe says, "Well, I guess the gas mask didn't help you, even though you're dead." Like trying to poke holes in their entire argument here about you being dead, but the birds are still there. And
but they all just kept saying, "We're dead. We can't talk to you. We're dead." Yeah, no, we get it. You're dead. Like, that was funny. That scene was funny.
One of the weirdest lines in the movie. Which one of you dick and balls wants to earn $20? What the fuck is that line?
I don't know. But then Chet the moron raises his hand, gets his $20.
What do they call him? The projectionist?
Oh, he's a projectionalist.
Projectionalist, yes.
Yes, he works in the movies. He's a projectionalist.
Yeah, and they go to the burned out house where Amelia's boyfriend lived, and then the house got burned down and the boyfriend was killed. And then all of a sudden, we'd mentioned him before, the kid on the bike shows up with the big dick.
He's talking about his dick.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why is this kid talking about his dick?
Yeah.
Oh, what is this movie, Betsy?
I don't know.
I want to stop talking about this movie.
Yeah, and like at the end, the whole plot point is, where's the movie? Where is the movie? And they looked at the projector, and all I kept thinking was, it's film. He just cut the two films together. Yeah. That's how film works. Yeah. And they're like, the film, it's been spliced together. It's like, yeah.
No shit. Have you never seen a film before?
Where did you think the movie was? The projectionalist made sure of it. They had to do that by hand in those days.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are moments that are funny. There are moments that are really funny. There are moments that actually, despite itself, work in this movie. But then there's so much stuff that doesn't make any sense, or it's just too convoluted to come together, that I'm just left going, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
I am left scratching my head. I don't think I ever want to see this movie again.
I don't feel a strong need to know.
No. I think the performances between these two guys went above and beyond what they were hired to do. They carried this fucking movie all the way through to the end.
I believed them every moment of the movie.
Yeah.
I just didn't know who they were because I didn't need to. But then I also didn't really care that I didn't know who they were at times.
Sure. So they were entertaining enough to be on screen.
Right. It's a mystery to me.
Yeah. And there are very, very few moments where they're not on screen. Yeah. So despite all that, you know what? I'm done with this. I want to get out of here. So let's read a short email about one of the last movies we covered, Coco. We got an email from Ashley. She says, "Hey, never seen it. Coco is one of the best movies that has come out in recent years, and the rewatches get easier as it crushes your heart to dust."
Oh, no.
Oh.
It does do that.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it got us in the feels, as the kids say.
It reached out and it held me gently by the face.
Saying, you will cry. And let the tears come.
Looked deep into my eyes and said, "Let it go, you little bitch." And I said, "Okay."
I did too, but not so dramatically. Excellent choice from Ashley. Thank you, Ashley, for the email.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one. Every so often when we can do one of these animated movies, you know, there's always going to be a big response to movies like this because they're so, you know, mainstream and everybody has seen them. Everybody
Except
has access. You know, that's why we're doing the podcast, Betsy. Anyway.
And they're rarely bad. Like, even the bad ones that we've watched haven't been that bad.
Cars 2 was probably the worst one that we've covered on this show.
It's probably gonna be the worst one, too.
Probably.
I don't know of any that are more infamous than that one.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's going to be the end of this one. If you would like to be like Ashley and email us, the address is neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, neverseenit_pod. We got a Facebook and we got an Instagram. The name on those two services is neverseenitpod1. Use those services to spread the good word about Never Seen It. Share this episode, share the Coco episode. We got them all up there, up through the past, 20.
Something like that.
But if you want to just introduce this show to your friends, please do that. Share the RSS feed on the links thing. You can figure it out from there. Or just share it from your phone. Text all your friends. Put it in all your
group chat.
Put it all in your group chats. You all got group chats out there. I know you do.
I know you young people have group chats.
That's right. You and your Facebooks and your TikToks and your WhatsApp, all that shit. Anyway, support us as well. Click the link in the podcast description. It'll take you to a page on Anchor where you can put in your credit card information. We take cards on this show. You can just stick your card in your cell phone. It works.
It's not 1977 anymore.
You don't need the carbon. You don't need the carbon paper anymore. I've used those. Yeah. When I worked at Kmart when I was in high school, I had to do that literally when I worked the layaway section.
There is nothing more gratifying than that thunk.
That ka-chunk. Anyway, give us money. That's all we're asking for. We would appreciate it. But yes, that is the end of this episode. I want to thank you, Betsy, for being my co-host today. I want to thank you for listening to the show, and we will be back with another episode of Never Seen It next time. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
See ya.